Welcome everyone. Good afternoon from a very, very rainy Scotland. So I hope the weather is good where you are. And as always, in true British fashion, if you want to tell us where you're from and what the weather's like where you are, we are always happy to read that. Today's session in our Adobe Skills Lab series is looking at fast PDF workflows with Adobe Express. My name is Louise Hopkins, and I'm one of our customer success managers here in the UK. And I'm with my esteemed colleague, Alistair Black, who's also one of our customer success managers here in the UK. And Alistair will be leading the session today. So he's going to really be focusing in on all of the document and PDF actions within Express. So as always, we'd love for you to follow along, and we'll put the link to Express in the chat in just a moment when we get started. A bit of housekeeping. Our session is scheduled to last for 1 hour. We might finish a little bit ahead of time, but as always, our sessions will be recorded, and then we'll post these up on our YouTube channel as well for future viewing. And again, once we get going, I'll post a link to the YouTube channel in the chat, and feel free to share that with colleagues if you like as well. And as always, chat to us, please ask questions. We're here to answer your questions and take your comments. So please ask your questions. We'd like to keep it as interactive as possible. So with that, I will pass you over to my colleague Alistair, who will be leading the session.
Well, thank you, Louise. As you say that, I can hear the rain hammering on the roof above me. Hopefully it won't come through into the recording, but I wouldn't be surprised. It sounds very heavy, so that's not such great news. And apparently it's raining in Paris as well, so it's not just Scotland. So thanks very much for joining today. I'm going to just share my screen so that you can all follow along with what I'm doing today. So fast PDF workflows. I think the first thing to say is probably a lot of you might have Adobe Acrobat, or at least have used Adobe Acrobat in the past. I think the statistics show that there's something like 6 PDFs for every human being that's alive on the planet at the moment. So there are a lot of PDFs out there, no doubt about it. PDFs have been around for a long time. I've worked with them for a long time as well, and I think they're a part of everyday life in any kind of organization. Universities, colleges, and businesses all use PDFs. You may not always love them, and they may seem a bit boring and dull, but they are something that you have to work with, no question about it. So today, I'm not really going to be talking about Acrobat, but I'm going to be talking about Adobe Express and how you can actually do many of the functions that you may be familiar with in Acrobat, but in Adobe Express itself. And when I say you can do these functions, this isn't a light version or a cut down version. This is actually exactly the same technology as is used in Acrobat and Document Cloud to do these PDF conversions. So I hope that'll be useful for everybody today. Of course, there are things that Acrobat is the best tool for. If you want to redact a document, for example, you need to use Acrobat. If you're wanting to do things like add in alt text and reading order for accessibility, you'd want to use Acrobat. But there's a lot of these functions are also in Express as well. So, and I think the kind of things that people are doing every day is usually fairly straightforward. So it's creating a PDF. It is maybe merging documents together into a PDF or changing the layout of a PDF. It can be exporting from a PDF to other formats like Word, like PowerPoint, or to image files like JPEG as well. So these are the kind of things that I'm going to show you how you can actually do in Adobe Express. So let's get started. Maybe I'll put my camera off just to save you a little bit of real estate on your screens. So If we look at Adobe Express, a lot of different functions within Express, but for the purposes today, what you want to look at is the document option. So if you look right at the top of your screen there, you've got your document option in there. Now, just to remind you all that Adobe Express is available within a web browser. It's also available as an app that you can get for Android and iOS as well. I'll mostly be using the web browser to show you these functions today. So what do we have in there? We've got our document, and you'll see we've got listed what we call quick actions. So these quick actions, they actually apply to a lot of different functions in Express. So you can do things like make QR codes, crop a picture, or remove the background from a picture. But the document quick actions will come up when you click on document, and you'll see what they are here. So we've got convert to PDF, edit a PDF, we've got combine files, organize pages, convert from PDF, and convert to JPEG. So that is the main functionality that you have across PDF. So let's kind of go through some of these just to kick off. Come into convert to PDF. I'm just going to click on there. And this is going to give me the option. It's very simple. It's just going to make a PDF and download that to my computer. Very simple. So I just click to tap to upload a file, and I'm going to go into my folder here. So come into my desktop. On my desktop, I have got all my folders on there. There's my quick PDF folder. I've got various types of files in there. You'll see I've got image files, Excel, Word, and PowerPoint. And I could convert any of these to PDF. I'm just going to choose the PowerPoint in this particular case. And let me just click on open. And what that's going to do is just start to convert that to a PDF. And as I said before, there's no real difference in doing this than if you were to do this, for example, with Acrobat Online or any of those tools like that. It's using exactly the same Adobe technology to do that conversion. It's going to give me a preview. So it's giving me a bit of a preview of my PowerPoint that I've converted to PDF. I can see that's 6-page document, for example. I can even zoom in and zoom out to the document if I want. I'm happy with that, so I'm just going to download that PDF. It's going to go down into my downloads folder there. Very simple. So it's as simple as that to quickly make a PDF. And that's the number one thing that you're probably going to use this for. But of course, it doesn't stop there. There are a lot of other things that you can do with your PDF as well. One of the things you'll notice there, it says edit PDF. Now, there's actually a lot of interaction now between Acrobat and Express, because they're all within the Adobe Creative Cloud, and as you can imagine, with the cloud storage, it's very easy to open documents between each of the applications. So an example there is if I go into Acrobat, let's bring this over onto my screen here. So there's Acrobat, and here I have a PDF that I've got open in Acrobat. If I go into the edit option here, you'll see it says stylize this PDF. And that's actually going to open up from that PDF in Adobe Express directly from Acrobat. If I could click stylize this PDF, it's going to upload that to my cloud storage. It's going to do that conversion on that PDF and open it up. But it's going to give me, it's assuming that I want to make design changes to this document, because Express is a great place where you can start to make some of those changes, change the colors, change the fonts. You might want to put in some images, maybe make a nicer background for your document. So here it's giving me a few options on there where I might want to change it. I could just stick with the original if I wanted, but let me see, I quite like this one here, so I could select that, could apply the style, and I could continue, and that's then opening that document straight from Acrobat into Adobe Express, where I can work on it and I can edit it. And you'll see it's applied those style changes that I asked it to make, and those style changes have been made. It's not harmed my original PDF. I still have that document, so it's not changing that document on my hard drive. What it's basically doing is it's taking that PDF and it's kind of converts it to an Express document, really, so that you can start to edit that document within Adobe Express. Once you're finished with it, then you can download it again as a PDF if you want to do that. Or if you prefer, you could download it as a different format, or you could rework that material in different ways. So that would be what I would be able to do with my document there. Now, what if I wanted to start not from Acrobat, but because I say I didn't have Acrobat, but I just wanted to do that within Express itself? Well, you can do exactly the same thing directly from within Express. So if I come into Edit PDF, I'm going to tap to upload a file. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that file that I converted earlier on to a PDF. So when I click convert to PDF, and I'm going to open up that PDF and I'm going to do some additional kind of stylizing of this PDF, because my source PowerPoint document that I started off with, it's I'm deciding, well, that's a little bit boring. Maybe I could bring in some nicer elements and nicer options within document. So that's converted it now. I'm just going to click open, and that's going to open that up within Express. So there is my document there. Close that one down. It's giving me all the messages about that's been successfully done. So what kind of things might I want to do to this document just to make it look a little bit nicer now that I've opened it up in Adobe Express? Well, I could change this quite substantially. So I could select any of the elements in here, and for example, I could start to edit this this text in here. So I could say, I could add in further education, for example. I could say, oh well, that doesn't fit so well now, so I'm going to make that font a little bit smaller. So I could change the size of the font. I could move things around. I think that's a bit cheesy. I'm just going to delete that there. In fact, what I'll do is I'm going to bring that back in. You'll see that when I click over my text here, it actually gives me an option to rewrite that text. So let's have a little look at that. Click on rewrite, and it's going to say, how do I want to do that? Do I want to rephrase this? Do I want to shorten it, or do I want to lengthen it? So let me just try rephrase. And it's giving me, do I want to make it more inspirational, more comical, more casual, more academic? Let me try and make it more academic. I always like to make myself sound clever, more clever than I actually am. So let me click on generate here. And there we go. And it's giving me some options there. Investigating approaches and upcoming patterns in the field of education. Okay, well, these sound okay. So I'm going to select that. And I'm just going to replace that there. And that is then just rewritten that little bit of text for me. So it's not, doing the work for you. All it's doing is rephrasing things. So it might make it more casual, it might make it more formal, shorten it or lengthen it. It's just kind of helping you out with that particular task. And that can be quite good if you're not quite sure where to start with rewriting something or writing a little bit of more information into your document. So I've got my document here. What else could I do? Well, I could change the fonts in it. So I could, go into there. One thing is if you have a brand, so in Adobe Express, there is a brand functionality where you can save colors, fonts, different assets into your brand. You can save templates as well. You could actually apply your brand to the whole of this document, and it would add on your colors and fonts in there. So that just gives you that consistency, and so that's a really good thing to look at as well. But if I just want to do this kind of more manually, I can come over here and I can go in and I can find a nice font. It's actually going to make some suggestions for me. So you'll see up here it's suggesting some fonts. If I click view all, I can get a clearer view of those fonts. So we can see some of them. That looks okay. Or maybe I want a nice serif font there. That looks quite nice as well. So you can see how I can easily make those kinds of changes. I could do other things to my fonts as well. I could change the color if I wanted. So you can see I can pick from a brand, or I can pick from suggestions that's coming up. I can also go into the color picker here and just choose, or I could put in a specific hex number in there as well. You'll see I'm just dragging it around and it's changing the hex code. There's even a color dropper. So you'll see this eyedropper tool here. I can click on this eyedropper. I could go over to a color in my document and look, it has identified what that color is and it's applied that color. So that's very clever. It's probably a little too faint than I would normally use with the color contrast. It's not a great color contrast on there, but it does show you how you can apply those colors over to your other document. And again, I can move these around if I wanted to do that. Very easy to do that, or to add in other text blocks. Come over to my text here, and I could add in some additional text blocks. Just add my text, and I could say, enjoy the presentation. Something you would normally write, but just for something to put in there. Select that, and again, I can just shrink that down to the size I want. So you can easily add in additional information in there as well. So that is kind of the text really quickly. But what about some of the images and what you can do with the images in your document? So remember, we've taken a PDF. We want to make some changes to it, make it look a little bit nicer. And we are going to then download it again as a PDF, or we could download it as a different file if we like. So I'm going to select my image here. So what can I do to my image? Well, now I've got my image selected, you'll see some more quick actions come up. So remember I talked earlier about the quick actions. So we had all of our PDF quick actions that we could see. Well, we also have image quick actions. So if I've selected my image, I could go there. I could remove the background. I could erase an element in it. I could use GenAI to remove objects or insert objects into this. I could set this as the background to my PDF if I wanted to do that as well. So do that. But what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to replace this document. So you'll see if I come up here, I've got my options there. I could crop the document, that image. I could delete it. I could do all these other things because remember this is always on a layer, and I could change the level of the layer if I wanted. But I'm actually going to replace it. So we just hit replace there. What options do I get when I want to replace it? So I could replace this with an upload. So if I've got my own image that I want to use in here, I just choose replace with upload, and then I can upload that from my hard drive. Or I could go into photos. So if I click photos, let's see what comes up. Over here on the side, I have my media tab here, and I can search for a photo in there. What is this media tab? What are these photos? Well, within Adobe Express Premium version, which you have as a Creative Campuses, then you have access to Adobe Stock. Now, Adobe Stock has more than 2 million images, which have all been contributed by our Adobe Stock contributors over the years. Those contributors get paid whenever those images get used. And you have access to those copyright-free images. So you don't have to worry about the problems where people go on to Google image and they find an image, or they take something from a website, or they scan something and they don't own the copyright, and down the line that can be problems. So you don't have that problem with Adobe Stock. You can freely use those images. There's also video and audio stock assets that are available as well. So I could have a search for this. So let me say sustainability. Well, that's not how you spell sustainability. I should probably choose something I can spell. There we go. And it's giving me a few different images to portray sustainability. So I can go through those and quite a lot of different images. Don't have all day, so I'm just going to choose this one here. So that's me chosen that, and I just made those kind of quick changes to my image there. I could drag this out. I can make it a bit bigger, just to give it a little bit more style in there. Just drag that there. Resize my text box as well. Just drag this around here, like so. So that's just an example of some of the stylistic changes that you could make to your document. Now, while we're here, what I think might be quite useful to look at is some of the other things that you can also do with your document as well. So, for example, as well as images, I could add in other things like different elements. We have infographics as well. So let's have a look at these elements. So these are, for example, design assets. You're talking about things like shapes and icons. You've got backgrounds and that you could use. So I could have a search in there. Let me see. I'm going to say wind turbine, see what comes up. And there's some different wind turbine elements that are coming up there. So I could choose this one here, for example. Let's drop that there. So I'll just move that over there and I could use that wind turbine element. It is also possible to animate all these elements. Obviously, if you're going to download this as a PDF later, you probably wouldn't do that. But if you wanted to reuse that as, say, an online social media post, you might want to do that. Charts and grid, there's also things like infographics that you can use. You'll see we've got tables, we've got infographics that we could add into our document as well. Probably that is a topic for another day, though. So now I've got this in here, you know, and I could make further changes right across my document here. But what if I, have to use this document in a different way, and maybe I've got an international audience for this document, or I need to share this document with international students or people for whom, maybe in this case, English isn't a first language. Well, we have a translate function into our document as well. So if you come over here, you'll see there is a translate button at the top. I hit that translate button, and you'll see the translate tab comes down the side for me here. So I've got all these different translation options. So I could go in there and I could select as many languages as I wanted to in here. Let me just choose, I'm going to choose Chinese there, and I'll choose French as well. But I could actually select them all if I wanted. I could choose as many as I like. Now, it's assuming that I want to translate the whole document. And that's great because that's probably is what I want to do in this case. If it was just one page or a section of a page, then I could just do that. Now, if I hit on translate, so what this does is it actually duplicates the document and it translates it into all the languages that I've selected. So the extra pages will be added on to the document, the translated pages. So I've got that option of splitting that up, and sending those out separately. It'd be entirely up to me. So this is it, and has come up now, and I can go through this. I can see you'll see that it's giving it a title here, so I can see the Chinese ones are here. I can come down here. I've got the French ones are here. And I've got, I think was that the one that, yeah, I just did French and Chinese, yep. And I've got the original English ones at the top. So you can see that really just took, 3 or 4 seconds to do that. It was really, really quick. And I have worked with people who have used this function. For example, academics who've been collaborating internationally, working with between the UK and Belgium and South America, and they've had to translate the text within a document between those teams, and they were able to use that translation function in Express to do that, and then share that out amongst their team. So you can imagine how useful that's going to be if you have to do some work like that where you have to share something internationally. You maybe need to get some comments on it, but you also need to translate it. You could take your PDF, you could upload that PDF to Adobe Express, run the translation, and share that out. You can either download that again as a PDF and send it back, or you could share it directly from Adobe Express. So that's going to give you a lot of functionality in there that's really going to help. Now, I've been talking about how you can share things and how you can kind of collaborate with other users. So how would you actually go about doing that? Well, it'll be no surprise to you that we've got this share button up here. So I can click on my share button. So how does this actually work? So I can put in the address, the email address of whoever I'm collaborating with. They would have access to that document to start to work on that document. So if you have a team of people that you're working with on a project, you can imagine it might be a group of students who are collaborating on a shared project, for example. It could be, a group of people who need to give feedback, give comments about a particular document, then you can do that as well. I could also go in here and I could give a broader access to this document to share it. So within your domain, you may, provided your admin's allowing you to do this, you can share within your domain. So I can share within Adobe, for example, and to anyone I send the link to. Or I could say anyone with the link can access. So if I say anyone with the link can comment, I can just copy that out from there. So I'm going to pop this on the clipboard now, in the chat rather here. It's on the clipboard now. I'll put it into the chat. Now, any of you can comment on that document. So I don't know, maybe we have some French speakers in the audience today. Maybe you want to go and have a look and comment on how accurate the French translation is, or if we have any Chinese speakers here, maybe you want to have a look at the Chinese translation and put some comments in. But what I would love you all to click on that link that's in the chat now, and just really to show you how easy it is to collaborate. And I can actually see already there's a lot of people who are coming in there into the chat. So that's fantastic. We've got a few people coming in to work on that document. Feel free to mess around with my document. I really don't mind. It's just a little sample file. Play around with it. Edit some text if you like. Change some pictures around. Actually, you probably won't be able to do that because I think I've only given you the comment, right? So you can probably only comment on it, but do add some comments into the document to do that. Yep. Okay. So that's the kind of sharing and translation options there. Again, if I click at that share link, you'll see I can save it to my cloud storage. I could make a template out of this document as well. So that's a really useful feature too. You can make a template. You can lock elements of that template. For example, maybe there's only a text section that people can change and you can make changes in there. I could share a view-only link to that document, or I could actually share this out to social media as well if I want, and that would link up to any social media accounts I've added onto Express. And again, that is a function that's there. Probably, again, a topic for a different day, but that's a super useful and very heavily used function within Express. Great to see that you're all jumping into the document. I see 12 of you now are in this. So just goes to show you how easy it is to do there, to go in. You can all add comments. You can all do different things in the document there. What if I just want to download my file though? So I can come into the download button here, click download, and it's giving me my download options in there. So what do I have in there? I could choose specific pages. So here's where it could be useful. Say I've got my document here. I've really kind of got 3 versions of my document all in one. So for example, I could choose all the French language pages and just download that, and that would give me a separate PDF with just the French language pages, or I could choose to download everything. In this case, I think I'm just going to download everything. And how can I download it? Well, it's assuming I want to download this as a PDF. It's giving me that as my default option there, but there are other options in here as well. So I could download it as an image format, like a PNG or a JPEG. Good to see that I'm seeing some comments are coming into the document. I'll have to read those in a minute. I can see, but I can also download as a PDF standard or PDF print. Um, PDF standard, the probably the one that I would go for a document like this. I'm not handing it off to printer or anything like that, so I'm not going to be putting in bleeds or crop marks or anything like that. But what I can do, if I download this as a kind of regular PDF standard document, you'll see that I've got the option to add accessibility tags. So this is a brilliant option, and I will talk a little bit about this. Now, um, if you are a visually impaired user and you need a screen reader to have what's on your screen read out to you, so these are tools like JAWS, for example, that are commonly used by people with visual impairments. How does it, read those files out if it's a PDF? Well, for a PDF, in the background, it has these tags attached. So this isn't something you can see when you're looking at the PDF on screen, but the screen reader can read those tags. They're kind of like they're part of the structure of the document. And the tags just describe the layout of the document. So, for example, it'll say, this is a header, this is a paragraph, this is some bullet points, and it gives that structure of the document, so that when a screen reader comes to read out that document, it's going to do so in the the right way, and it knows what everything is. So it's really important to have those where possible. Once you've selected Add Accessibility Tags, it will save that as your default option. So it's really good to do that. And then when you download that, then you've got your tags in there. Now, it doesn't mean your document is necessarily 100% accessible, because you might need to add in other things like alt text on images, check your reading order and things like that. But it is going a very long way towards making that document accessible. And another great thing that you can do here. So if you are somebody who maybe has to deal with, I'll just let somebody to the room there. If you're somebody who has to deal with inaccessible PDFs, and I get asked about this all the time actually. So you've got a PDF, you need to make it accessible. So this is a tip of how you can add on accessibility tags without having Acrobat or having to completely recreate the document or do manual editing. You can just take that PDF that does not have accessibility tags, upload it to Express, and then download it with the accessibility tags. It's using the kind of cutting edge AI accessibility tool that Adobe have developed over the last couple of years to do that. And that analyzes the document visually to add those tags. It's very, very clever, and it's actually much more accurate than was the case a few years ago when this was done in Acrobat. So yeah, that's my little diversion about accessibility and and ways to add on a little bit more accessibility with your document. So now I've done that, I will just hit on download, and I've chosen my PDF standard as my download option there, and that's going to come down here. I'm not sure. It doesn't. I think I can see the chat here. I don't see any questions coming in. If I have missed anything, do give me a shout. And I would say if you do have any questions about anything I'm covering, feel free to pop it into the chat and be happy to answer any of your questions. I think we're already seeing how you can save a lot of time with this. It's very fast. It's simply one click to create a PDF. Once you've got your PDF created, you can upload PDFs, and then you can do substantial editing to them. So here's my PDF here that I've been editing, and I could open that up in Acrobat. So let me just go in there. I think that is it there. It just actually might not be. So let me just browse. Should be into my downloads. It is it. There we go. Yeah, so here's the PDF that we've got here, and this is me viewing this in Acrobat, so not in Express. Um, so yeah, and I can go through that, and I can see all the options, and I can see the translated pages as well. Fantastic. So if I did have Acrobat and I wanted to do further work on it in there, then I could also do that too. So thank you to everybody that has been popping in there and maybe adding comments or having a look at the document. That's fantastic, and I will have a look at some of those later on. So we've had a look at how we can edit our PDF, how we can. So we've got a question here from Karen: is the redaction tool available? So the redaction tool is not available in Express, no. So the redaction, you'd have to use Acrobat to do redaction. Yeah, that is the short answer to that question. So we'll have to look at how you can edit your PDF, how you can add your images, how you can change the text, and what your different download options are. We've also had a look at what your collaboration options are as well. We've also seen those really nice kind of translation features and things like that too. So a lot of things that you can do with your file, but I'm going to come back to my homepage here in Express. And just to kind of go through again, so if you're starting off in your homepage in Express, how would you get to all of these options? Well, there's different ways to do it. Now, I always go into Document here, and I get all my options there. So that's the easiest way that you can do that there. Just hit the document link up there. Within Express, you can always do a search. So you can always go in there. It's give me various suggestions there. But I guess if I type in PDF, for example, it's going to bring up all the PDF options as well. So I can see edit, convert from PDF, convert to PDF, etc. So lots of stuff that lots of ways that I can access it. But usually what I do is I just go into document and work on it there. Now, what if you kind of were working on a project? It's not something that was going to be done in one session or done in one day. What happens to that kind of Express document that you're working on? Well, it's going to be stored over in your stuff. So any files that you're working on in Express are always saved in your stuff. So my top tip for Express, and this is on based on experience, is always give your file a good name where you'll be able to find it. Because if you're working with lots and lots of documents in Express, there's a lot of things will come in there, and it'll just give you a default name which has the date in it, and it's easier if you give it an easily identifiable name. Within your storage in your stuff, you can also put in folders. You can organize things within folders in just the way that you would expect. And that's also giving you the ability to access a lot of those documents in other tools within the Creative Cloud as well. For example, within Acrobat, you'll be able to access those documents too, and in your document cloud storage. So what other quick options do we have here? So we've looked at convert to PDF. We've looked at edit PDF. So you also have this combine files option as well. So this actually allows you to add multiple files in order to make those changes in there. So I'm just going to go back into my folder here. And I could combine multiple files in there. So there's an image and there's a Word document. I'm just going to choose those. So I could add those all in. I could do a PowerPoint, an Excel, multiple Word documents. I could add them all in and make one file from them. So I'm just going to click to do that. And it'll start to process those files and generate that. It's often a thing that people ask about is, in the past, it used to be a little bit difficult actually to combine PDFs in a way. I used to kind of make a binder out of them and kind of stick them together. So that was a little bit difficult. I always found it a bit of an awkward workflow in Acrobat to do that. You could certainly do it, but it wasn't as simple as it could have been. This is really easy to do within Adobe Express, and you'll see it's now just processing that out for me. I've got my image there. and because I've made a kind of cover page for my document within Express, and then I've got my couple of pages of Word document as well. If I wanted to kind of edit that within this window, you'll see that I've got the option to rotate those files. If I decided, I wanted it landscape instead of portrait, for example, I could do that. I could, or if I thought, well, I didn't actually want that in there, I can delete it. And I could add in additional documents in there to combine too. I don't have to do it there. I could drag and drop the files in as well, or I could click to upload them. And once that's processed, then you can simply click the download button there, and that's going to download that as a PDF for you. So yeah, very simple to combine files, to take those documents and combine them together. Does combine function also work within an Excel file? Yes, it totally does. You can add in an Excel file. I do have one there as well. So if I hit on combine, yep. So there's an Excel file there, for example. I could select that and my cover image, and that would combine those together as well. So it's doing my image first, and then it's going to work on my Excel too. And that's starting to come in there. So yep, that'll definitely work. Some of the other quick actions you've got is the ability to organize pages. So if I go into organize pages here, again, I can upload my file, and then I can actually move those pages around. So let me just choose this one again. I'll upload my PowerPoint document there. And I'll be able to move those pages around into a different order. Just going to process that through there, looking at all of the different fonts and colors in there, and then that's starting to come in. It'll be loaded up in a second. Again, we've got the option there of adding more. Yep, I can go in here, I could select a page. You'll see that I could rotate that page if I wanted to. I could add in additional files, and this is what it's really for, is for just swapping these pages around. So I can change the order of the pages if I wanted to do that within my document. Very simple to do it within Express. So you don't need to have Acrobat to do these things. You don't need to have any other tools. You can do it all in Adobe Express. Now we just hit download again to download that as a PDF with the new page order down onto my desktop. There we go, and that's it downloaded now. So sometimes you don't want to output as a PDF. Maybe you want to take your PDF, but you want to have it in another format, such as Word or PowerPoint. So let's go into convert from PDF. So we're going to start off with a PDF, and then we will convert from our PDF. So I'll just take one of my downloaded files that I've been working on. Doesn't really matter which one. And there is my PDF. So it's opened up my PDF, and very simple, I've got a drop-down menu. So what can you convert to? You can convert to a PowerPoint, for example. So if you've got a PDF and you happen to want to open it in PowerPoint and maybe make some changes or do other elements in PowerPoint, or maybe somebody simply told you, oh, this has to be in PowerPoint, we don't take PDFs or we don't take other formats, then you can easily change that into a PowerPoint. Of course, you could go from almost any format into PDF and then output as a PowerPoint via Express. So again, it's a really handy tool for just moving documents around. That way, you could be in Excel, rich text format. I mean, of course, you have to use your common sense. You wouldn't take a document like this and output it in Excel because it doesn't really make sense to do that. But if this was, a table with lots of data in it, then it would make sense to download it as an Excel. You can download it as Word, old style, or suppose what it would call new style, which is anything after 2004. You've got a PNG and JPEG as well. So, nice one if you've got your document and you need to have that as an image format, maybe to drop an image on a web page, or put it into another document. Then this is a way to do it. Just download that as a PDF, download that as a JPEG from there as well. So very simple to do that. So I could choose PowerPoint there, and I could just download that from there. So again, kind of round tripping your document. I mean, do look out for how things turn out, and because whenever you start to sort of round trip documents from one format into another, things can happen, you know, if you don't have the right fonts and things like that. So do double check your documents that they come out okay. In most cases, you'll be fine, but you know, it's always worth double checking. And that's downloaded that back into a PowerPoint once again. Okay, so what is our final option there is convert to JPEG. Going to click on convert to JPEG. And again, I can upload, and you know, this is not a specific option for PDFs, but I can upload any of my formats. I've got a nice QR code there. I'll just open that up and I can download that as a JPEG directly from there. I think it was a ping before, and that's done that really simply. Or I could open it up in Express and I could edit it a little bit further in Express. So it's not super complicated. It's not anything that's you're going to have to go and study for a long time to learn how to do any of this. It's really, really quick and it's really, really simple. And I've showed you all of those PDF options within Adobe Express today. So just to recap some of them, remember when you go into Document, you can choose to convert to PDF. You can edit your PDF, and I spent a little bit of time on that. Totally optional, of course. You may have no desire whatsoever to edit your PDF, but if you did, you could do that. Once you had that, it essentially takes a PDF, kind of makes it into an Express document. You could do a lot with that Express document. You could output it as a social media file. You could add animation. You know, there's the you know, you can be very creative with that file when you're editing it. Or you can just download it again as a PDF once you've made your changes. You can combine those different file types together. You can organize your pages. You can convert from PDF to another format. So if you want to get that out into a PowerPoint again or an Excel or something like that, then you can do that, and you can convert to a JPEG as well. Okay, so that's basically all of the things that I wanted to cover today. I did actually manage to take up a fair bit of time there, more than I thought I would. So I hope that was useful to everyone. Just check whether there's any additional questions that people have. And if there's things that you're thinking about, do pop them into the chat, and we'll do our best to answer any of the questions that you might have. Put my camera back on.
We did have one, Alistair. You might know the answer of this. I don't, so I'm actually testing it right now. But Teresa asked a really good question.
Right.
What does happen if you bring in an Excel file that has multiple tabs? Right. And I've actually I found one that we have, and I've downloaded it, and I'm just testing it really to see. I don't know if you know top of mind.
Yeah, it's a good question actually. I've never my assumption would be it's going to convert all those. Probably obviously a PDF doesn't have tabs in that same way, so it'd probably add it on as extra sheets in there. So I'll wait the outcome of your experiment, Louise. I've not actually tried it. It's a good question.
Doing it now. Yeah. So
my assumption would be that it would add it on to the end, but hey, Therese, try it out for yourself as well. Yeah, give it a go. I would also say that you know, with the as your creative campuses, there's a lot of other options that you guys have got, as well as these webinars. And the webinar will be put onto our YouTube page over the next few days, probably tomorrow, if I'm honest. And but we also have our digital badging as well, so you can we've got a whole load of different digital badging courses that you can take, and these are short courses that are around about 2 hours, but they're split up into kind of more bite-sized modules, so they're around about 15 minutes each. And at the end of that, you get a micro credential, a little digital badge, which you can add on to your LinkedIn. You can put it into your CV. So that's a really nice option that you've got as well. dropping some links in there so you can find out a little bit more about that as well. So we have there's a lot of great benefits that you've got around being a creative campus as well. Just check to see if there's any other questions that anyone has.
I can give a bit of an update. So maybe something we need to come back with you on, Teresa, and test a little bit more. I did pull quite a hefty Excel file, and it had, probably 10 plus tabs in it and a lot of data. It's not saying it's unsupported, it's saying it's working on it, and then it's going back to...
Yeah, it'll take a little while to do that.
It takes a little while, so we might have to just test a little bit of that to see at what point does it not... Is it just too much data for it to handle? But we'll get back to you then, Teresa, on that. I'll take your name down and we'll get back.
Yeah. It's a good one, though. It's a good question, actually.
A delayed question.
Yeah. Okay. Are these digital badges free for students and staff? Yes, Nancy, they are indeed. So, yep, any of our creative campuses can do the digital badges. And yes, staff and students can both do the digital badges. You're very welcome to do that. And there's covering a lot of those kind of essential digital skills, things like infographics, generative AI, creating presentations, and marketing. There's a lot of really useful things in there. So feel free to share these. If you're a staff member, feel free to share these out with students as well, or your colleagues. Put them into your staff newsletter too. And speaking of newsletters, we also have a newsletter. We have got our Creative Campus newsletter, which you can subscribe to, and it'll let you know all of the things that we've got planned. It comes out every month, and it just gives you a rundown of all the events that are going on, both online and in person. And there's lots of things that are coming up within the Creative Campus land. So we'll drop in a link to that so that you can get that too. We'll have that link for you.
I've done it, Alistair.
Oh, you got it. Cool. That's good.
I'm there for you.
Thank you very much. And yeah, if there aren't any other questions, I think that probably finishes us up for today, Louise.
It does, and Teresa will come back to you on email on that one. Fantastic. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Alistair, thank you for the content today. It was great. As we've seen, and if you go back on the chat, everything is recorded and on the YouTube channel, so feel free to watch anything back. Any of our future sessions and past sessions will be on there as well. So bookmark that site. It's a good one to have. And I think our next instalment of our series is next week. Alistair will probably keep me quite honest here.
2 weeks.
2 weeks time. There we are. Told you to keep me honest. 2 weeks time, and we're going to be looking at creating amazing presentations. So hopefully you can all join us for that one as well. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend when it comes.
Thanks, folks.
Bye.
Hope the weather got a bit better.